Dua Lipa, the Albanian-British pop sensation whose chart-topping anthems like Levitating and Dance the Night have redefined modern dance pop, has long been more than just a voice in the zeitgeist. With her multifaceted platform Service95, encompassing a vibrant blog, a digestible weekly newsletter, and the intimate podcast Dua Lipa, at your service, she has emerged as a cultural curator par excellence. At the heart of this ecosystem lies the Service95 Book Club, launched in June 2023 as a beacon for literary discovery. This initiative isn't merely a celebrity endorsement machine, it's a deliberate celebration of diverse global voices, weaving together powerful stories from fiction, memoir, and manifesto. Lipa handpicks titles that span best-selling juggernauts and emerging whispers, each selection accompanied by her thoughtful introductions, virtual Q&As with authors, tailored reading guides, thematic playlists, and community-driven discussions. In an age where attention spans flicker like faulty neon, Lipa's book club stands as a testament to the enduring allure of the written word, inviting readers to pause, reflect, and immerse. The ethos of the club is rooted in inclusivity and provocation. Lipa, drawing from her own immigrant roots and the kaleidoscopic influences of her peripatetic life, from Pristina to London to Los Angeles, seeks narratives that challenge complacency and illuminate the human condition. Books have been my escape, my education, my rebellion, she once shared in a podcast episode, crediting voracious reading for fueling her lyrical depth. Each monthly pick is unveiled with fanfare, a newsletter tease, social media buzz, and an author spotlight that humanizes the genius behind the prose. The virtual Q&As, streamed live and archived for global access, foster a sense of intimacy, allowing fans to pose questions on everything from craft to courage. Playlists, curated to echo a book's mood, sultry jazz for mysteries, upbeat electronica for triumphs, transform reading into a multisensory ritual. Reading guides, rich with discussion prompts and historical context, equip book clubs worldwide to delve deeper, turning solitary pages into shared symphonies. As we traverse the selections from 2025 onward, patterns emerge, a penchant for unflinching examinations of power, identity, and loss, balanced by sparks of humor and hope. The October 2025 pick, Flesh, by David Saleh, exemplifies this mastery of minimalism. Lipa's introduction crackles with admiration. This is a book that constantly keeps you guessing. Even down to the dialogue, which is like nothing I've ever read before. Saleh, a Booker Prize nominee whose works like All That Man Is dissect male fragility, pairs his narrative to its skeletal essence in Flesh. The story orbits Istvan, a Hungarian everyman whose fortunes flux from rags to fleeting riches and back, mirrored not in lavish descriptions but in mundane markers. A shift from cigarettes to cigars to vapes, each puff a punctuation of his unraveling. Physicality is absent. Characters emerge as phantoms, compelling readers to project their own fears and fancies onto the page. David pares speech back to the bone, Lipa notes, and there are almost no physical descriptions of any of the characters, you're left to picture them for yourself. This sparseness breeds tension, a slow-burn grip that culminates in an emotional gut punch. Istvan, enigmatic and elusive, becomes a Rorschach test for readers, his arc a meditation on aspiration's cruel arithmetic. Lipa hails Saleh's discipline as a writer to give us just enough, predicting Flesh, will spawn endless analyses. For fans, the accompanying playlist, haunting synths interspersed with Eastern European folk, evokes Istvan's liminal world, while the Q&A probes Saleh on crafting ambiguity in an oversharing era. September's Choice, The Trees by Percival Everett, pivots to satirical savagery, blending horror, humor, and historiography in a tour de force that skewers America's racial reckonings. Lipa sets the scene with visceral flair. The scene, a white man in Money, Mississippi, is brutally killed, and the battered corpse of a long-dead but familiar young black man is also left at the murder scene. As bodies pile, each white victim paired with the spectral remains of Emmett Till, local law enforcement spirals into farce. Everett, a literary polymath whose James reimagines Huckleberry Finn through enslaved eyes, deploys tropes from cop procedurals to zombie flicks with surgical wit. As the story unfolds, author Percival Everett cleverly sends up all the usual tropes, Lipa writes, from TV cop shows to classic detective stories, using satire to bring deep-rooted political issues to light in this masterful blend of horror and humor. Agent Herberta Hind, the novel's acerbic black FBI operative, distills the chaos. History is a motherfucker. Indeed, The Trees resurrects buried atrocities, forcing confrontation with legacies that refuse entombment. Lipa's guide prompts debates on satire's edge, while her playlist, pulsing hip-hop beats laced with Delta blues, mirrors the book's rhythmic rage. The Q&A with Everett, a philosopher-novelist, unpacks how humor disarms to deliver hard truths, resonating with Lipa's own use of levity in lyrics like New Rules. August transports us to the courtroom's cold theater with Helen Garner's This House of Grief, a non-fiction dissection of a tragedy that probes justice's fragile foundations. Lipa recounts the harrowing hook. On Father's Day 2005, a recently divorced man in rural Victoria, Australia, drove his car off the road and into a dam. He swam to safety, but his 3 young boys drowned. Garner, Australia's grande dame of true crime whose The First Stone ignited feminist firestorms, embeds herself in the trial of Robert Farquharson, sifting evidence, testimonies, and appeals with forensic empathy. What she reveals along the way is not simply a courtroom drama but a sharp and forensic analysis of the human condition, Lipa observes. Was it accident or malice? Garner's narrative, spanning years, exposes grief's grotesque distortions, the ex-wife's torment, and societal judgments on paternal failure. Lipa, discovering Garner late but voraciously, calls her one of the most fascinating writers I have come across in recent years, urging dives into her oeuvre. The playlist, somber piano ballads evoking Australian vastness, pairs with prompts on narrative bias, and the Q&A illuminates Garner's ethical tightrope in chronicling real pain. July's Small Boat by Vincent Delacroix confronts migration's merciless arithmetic, fictionalizing the 2021 English Channel drowning of 27 souls. Lipa quotes the opener, "I didn't ask you to leave," a line that accrues weight as Delacroix, a French philosopher-novelist, threads personal betrayal with geopolitical brutality. This book challenged me profoundly. It moved me and stayed with me, Lipa confesses. It's not an easy read, but as our politics descend into hate-mongering and point-scoring, it's an essential story that needs to be told. The novella's brevity belies its emotional breadth, humanizing statistics into searing vignettes of displacement and denial. Readers confront complicity in border regimes, the small boat, a metaphor for fragile hopes adrift. Lipa's introduction ties it to her advocacy for refugees, her playlist a fusion of world music lamentations, and guides fostering empathy-building discussions. The Q&A with Delacroix explores philosophy's role in fiction, echoing Lipa's boundary-blurring artistry.